being an entrepreneur is hard. As an outsider looking in saying, oh, they do this, that's so easy. It is not easy.
It's oftentimes lonely, it's scary, if they're not problem solvers, it's extraordinarily difficult.
We were trained on something called the 5-step process. Jen, why don't you give a breakdown?
So the 5-step is,
I run this with my kids. It's fine.
you backtalk me and I'm pissed.
What the is going on with our city right now?
We have had such a lack of leadership, but then we've also had voter apathy. Because at the end of the day, no one gives a what you're selling. They give a about what you're going to do for them. Anyone and everybody should look up Ryan Sandberg's eulogy at Old St. Pat's Church here in Chicago. Watch Bob Costas' remarks. He described Sandberg as talented and fundamentally sound. And he quoted Sandberg's own words, hit a home run, put your head down, drop the bat, and run around the bases. Because the name on the front is more important than the name on the back. That's respect.
Life's a Pitch is a podcast where we talk about all the shit that actually happens when you're building a business, leading people, and just trying to live your damn life all at the same time. What is up? Welcome back to another episode of Life's a Pitch. I'm your host, Jen Guzman, and today I am joined by my friend and founder of Bestola Consulting, Jen Guzman. Jen is a force in Chicago's business community, equal parts strategist, mentor, and champion for small and mid-market companies. Her upbringing, shaped by a Mexican immigrant father and Jewish grandparents, fuels her signature mix of hustle, heart, and a deep belief in giving back. And also, not putting up with shit from anyone.
Ooh.
Jen, what's up?
Wow.
You like that one? Was that a good intro?
For that tweak of my intro.
Yeah, it's a little thing called ChatGPT. Add some personality to the thing you sent over to me.
Let's make it sound a little cooler. ChatGPT. ChatGPT.
Yes. Also, Jen and I were former co-workers at a company in a previous life, and Jen ran customer experience, and I ran marketing over there. And I actually have a very funny story about one of the first times that I had my aha moment of, shit, this is Jen. Okay, now I get her. Back then we called you Goose. The Goose was your nickname back then.
Goose was my nickname. And honestly, for the record, I miss our time together at Empower. I mean, if you think of all the battle scars we have, everything we went through, at the end of the day, it was mostly super positive, super fun, and we learned a ton. And it was perfect for my philosophy of take the work seriously, but not yourself. And I miss those days. I miss having the constant rap with the crew, you know?
Yeah. There's you and I are like brother, sister in a way. Like we would get in little like arguments or like brother sister fights, but we'd make up like 2 minutes later.
Totally.
So it was funny. But my intro, do you know what story I'm going to tell?
Maybe. If it's about a spat, then maybe.
No, it's not about a spat.
Oh, okay. No,
it was about the first time that you called me. I think I had been there for a few weeks. I met you one time briefly at dinner. And right after I started, the pandemic hit. If you remember that, obviously you remember that. And we supported small businesses, and we were an HR company. So they depended on us to kind of keep them above water, keep them up to date on what was going on. Well, this is also my first soiree into marketing. I've been in sales my entire career. And I had this big shiny image of me coming in, providing air support, building a new website, getting leads for the sales team, all this stuff. The pandemic hits, and I remember you called me and you go, hey, dude, we need to get out a message ASAP to our clients that don't know what's going on. And I literally sat in silence and I was like, okay, why are you telling me? Your exact words to me, I'll never forget, are, you go, bro, you're in charge of our fucking marketing. And that was kind of my intro to your style, which I love, obviously, but also like water from a fire hose of when COVID hit. It was like I was trying to learn marketing day by day, and I didn't have time to do that. And so that I don't know if you remember that, but that was a funny story. I remember.
I do remember that. And it was like, holy shit, PPP, like every single PPP, PPE, all of the crazy glossary that came with COVID. But honestly, when I think back to that, well, one, yes, I'm a get shit done person. So when I called you, I'm like, bro, this is you, all you, Gibby. Let's go.
Time to shine.
You
Time
ready?
to shine.
You got your little life jacket on?
Oh,
Inflated,
God.
let's go. But honestly, when you think about how difficult that time was for our business, but how we responded with urgency and heart, and the way we wrapped our arms around the small to middle market business community was incredible. And I think that now that we have that playbook, there's always going to be some sort of crisis, right? Thank God we're not in a health crisis where we're locked in our homes again. But 5 years ago to now, things haven't gotten much better. So knowing how to approach your clients, your team with just care and just being a human being, I mean, we were able to shine in that moment, even though it didn't feel good for us during that time.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. I mean, we also heard from a lot of small business owners that we were a major part of why they stayed afloat through that pandemic, which is always good to hear. So flipping it up, speaking of shit shows, you're very closely tied with everything that's going on in the city of Chicago, where you and I both live. And this is not meant to get political, but what the fuck is going on with our city right now?
I will give one answer and then a little bit more context, but it's the same thing that we're seeing in the private sector and a lot of businesses right now. We have a significant lack of leadership, period. And in Chicago specifically, we have had such a lack of leadership, but then we've also had voter apathy for years and years and years because people didn't feel the impact necessarily, and now they're feeling the impact because it impacts property taxes. It has impacted public safety in a major way. We have the classic case of, and obviously before I was in customer and client and employee experience, I had a long career in HR. And when you don't have development plans to develop talent, to grow into roles that are leadership roles, this is what ends up happening. And what I mean by that is we have a lot of well-intentioned elected officials who care about the community, who are activists, but who have never, I shouldn't say never, who have a very narrow job experience background, actual job experience. So they come to the table with no budget skills, no basic business acumen, no actual formal leadership development. And then we're putting them in charge of $18 billion budgets. Would you hire an intern to run an $18 billion business who's done some great community service? Absolutely not. And so what we're suffering from, and it's not just in Chicago, it's nationwide, is that we have now seen people elevate into very important roles that were never ready for these roles. And so we need people to get involved. We launched it's not a PAC, it was a 501c4, which is a social welfare organization focused on civic education and engagement called Rise Chicago a couple of years ago. We helped Eileen O'Neill Burke get elected Cook County State's Attorney, somebody who was focused on doing the job, not politics. And she's been fantastic. She's been in office for a year. Crime is down substantially in the city of Chicago because her team is actually doing what her team's supposed to be doing, which is prosecuting crime. We also helped with the school board election last round, which was the very first school board election in the city, getting common sense, moderate leaders elected to the school board. And so it's been a great ride. We are thinking about pivoting the organization because there are a ton of other organizations that are very similar to us doing the same work we're mission aligned, we're base aligned, we're donor base aligned. And so having all this redundancy doesn't make sense. It's confusing for the electorate, it's confusing for donors. And I'm saying, hey, egos aside, let's just focus on winning this next municipal election, which is February of 27, getting more common sense city council members elected, getting a mayor elected who is willing to put all the needs of the city of Chicago at the forefront, not just what serves his needs and his base's needs. And so anyway, going back to the beginning, it's leadership. We are lacking leadership at multiple levels. And even the people we do like that are kind of politically aligned, sometimes I've listened to a lot of these budget conversations, don't know what they're doing. And no one's interviewing them, right? So I would recommend to the electorate, go and meet your city council member, go and meet your Cook County commissioner and interview them and ask them and put what matters to you. It's the What Matters playbook at the forefront and actually have your voice be heard. Show up at local school council meetings, show up at school board meetings, show up at community safety meetings, and have your voice be heard. I think people think, well, it doesn't matter, no one cares, but they do care. And over time, it's a compound effect. And so we need everybody, all hands on deck at this moment.
Awesome. One of the things that you and I had talked about, and I've heard you say before, is the turnout, voter turnout was a major issue previously. Like, how do you change that?
It's getting people to understand that they are heard. And so the voter turnout in the last municipal election, the mayoral, was 36%. 36% of registered eligible voters turned out in the last election. That's egregious. And so part of the reason I had an interest in politics, but kind of being adjacent to it. The reason I stepped up and took on a more full-time role with Rise Chicago as I was also building my practice was because I'm not one to admire a problem. And I felt I'm shouting from the sidelines, I'm making all these comments, I'm pointing out all these issues, but I'm not actually getting in the game. And I'm not one to be a cheap seat shouter. And so I got in the game. And so that's number one. Number two, how do we change that next time around? I would advise, and it's free advice to anybody running for office, build the What Matters playbook. And what that means is, number one, go on a listening tour of the people that you would be serving. Go and figure out what matters to them. It's product sales. Then
I was going to say, it's exactly what we did when we worked at Empower together. It's exactly what everybody running a business should be doing with their clients.
Exactly. You go and listen first. Don't sell yourself. Because at the end of the day, no one gives a shit what you're selling. They give a shit about what you're going to do for them. So find out what matters to them. Come back to the house. Build a playbook of solutions that might work. Go back to those same people and say, are these the types of things, are these the types of solutions that would work, that would help you? What do you think about this? Get feedback, product test it. Then come back around and build your platform on it when you do your commercials, your social media ads, etc. Because what that's going to tell all those people that you just talked to, whether it's Mr. Smith, Mrs. Gonzalez, is it's going to tell people, oh, wait, Jared did listen to me and he heard what I said and he's running on it. And when people feel that their voice or what matters to them has been included in that process, it will compel them to come out and vote. There are zero excuses, especially for people who are born and raised in Chicago, to say, oh, it's February, it's cold, I can't go out and vote. Girl, please. I've seen a bunch of people out at the club waiting in line still to go out in the middle of February. If it matters enough to you to vote, you will make time. And also, you could get a mail-in ballot. So save me the excuses. Either get in the game and be a part of the solution, or don't complain when we're in the shit show.
I was going to say, you could cuss on this show. STFU. All right.
Or shut your pie hole.
Transition into something that, because I know you so well, I know is a major, major part of who you are. Your personal journey has been one with a lot of peaks, but a ton of unfortunate valleys. Which moment in those valleys changed you the most, personal, professional, and how did it shape the way that you ultimately are leading today? I'm curious to see which one you go with here, because you've got quite the story, if anybody knows you.
You know, initially my answer would have been January of 23, you came to see me in the hospital. I think you brought chocolate chip cookies.
You weren't
They
allowed
were
to eat them.
legit. I wasn't allowed to eat them. That's right. I was there for a month. And I'll spare all the details, but long story short, it was an endometriosis surgery that was probably my 8th or ninth. And I looked at death that time. And I didn't even realize in that moment how close I was to that. I think I was avoiding it for a period of time. So originally I would have answered that that was the pivotal moment where I said, listen, life is really short. I know it sounds cliche, but I just had this experience and I'm not going to put myself through unneeded stress anymore. It was that way for a period of time. And then I took on building Rise and took on building my business at the same time at 42, 43 years old and started to burn myself out again. And I was running the same playbook. So what I would tell you is my most pivotal coming out of the valley, I should say, has been in the last several months. And shout out to Julie Miller, who's my executive coach. She and I did 5 years ago this wheel of life exercise. And on this wheel of life, it's kind of like it's not kind of like a pie chart. It is a pie chart that is broken out into career, finances, leadership development, intimate relationships, family, etc. And we did this 5 years ago, and you score yourself 1 through 10 on how you think you're doing in all of these areas of life. Fast forward, earlier this year, I went through a ketamine journey, which I wrote about very openly on my blog, which helped me shed a lot of old trauma. This is after 10 years of cognitive therapy, all of the things, and ketamine was life-changing for me. And so then I did this wheel of life about 6 weeks ago, maybe less. And I realized that my scores compared to 2020 are almost exactly the same, where career, professional, development, all these things scored high, and my personal ones were still extremely low. Intimate relationships, family building, all of those things. And it was a slap in the face. And what I realized, now I'm going to coin it because I said it to Julie on the fly, and I'm like, whoa, this is what it is. I keep trying to run the same playbooks on a new operating system. And it doesn't work. And I don't want to, could I do all these other great things in my career? Sure. Could I run for public office? Sure. Could I keep running 2 businesses? Sure. But then I'm going to wake up at 80 with some cushy bio thing and cranes, still be single, not have a husband, not have children, and not do what's the most important thing in my life, which is to build a family and be a mother. And that was a slap in the face for me. And so I am currently coming out of the valley a little bit, but figuring out how to prioritize my personal life, not feeling badly about it, not tying worth not tying achievement or career titles, achievements, etc., to my worth any longer. That was a slap in the face. And in the spirit of accountability and self-awareness, I'm painfully self-aware. So in that moment, I was like, you look around and you're like, oh, I blame all these things. And no, I had no one to blame but myself.
Yeah. You've never been much of a blamer in my time knowing you. A shit talker, sure, but not a blamer.
Sure.
Big difference.
Fair.
That I appreciate you sharing that. Honestly, I don't think I knew about that end part of it. I knew about the ketamine, and then I didn't know about the score and all that. So that was good update, I guess. Let's talk really quickly about Bestola. Obviously, this is your business. This is your baby. You and I started our businesses collectively at about the same time. So we're about 3 years in each. What was why did you start your own business? I always like to ask entrepreneurs this question, what was the aha moment of this is why I'm doing it? And then what are you guys doing today?
The reason that I started it was after that January 23 health issue. We were in the middle of integrating with Venture, the business that bought us. And Jared Gibson, everybody, looked at me dead in my face in the hospital and said, if you come back to this business, I will never speak to you again.
Oh,
I
that
remember,
was
I know exactly how you were seated, where I was seated, but you were right. And so I transitioned off the team at Venture in April of 23 once my medical leave was over. And I was like, all right, I'm going to take a break and figure it out and see what I do next. And I had several people reach out and say, oh my God, you're a free agent? Can I pay you to help us? I need help with client experience, employee experience. I have client retention issues. I need to train my team on how to actually speak to clients and customers. And so Bestola was kind of born on its own based on the need of people in the small business sector. The name Bestola is named for, the business is named for both of my grandmothers, Bess and Bartola. I am a proud Mexican Jewish woman. And it evolved on its own. And now we are still doing the same thing, helping build client relations, or however you want to refer to it as, client relations, client experience, employee experience, infrastructure for small to mid-market businesses, how to measure retention, how to measure risk, how to create authentic connections with the people that you serve. And I love it. I'm hungry for it. It's so much fun. And what it does is it just allows you to connect with humans. And that's just who I am. So the business has taken on that shape and it's been a great ride. I'm not going to lie, this is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I've always been of the mindset of whatever challenge is in front of me, I got this. I'll figure it out and everything will be great. And in the grand scheme, everything is great, but it's been very hard. It's oftentimes lonely. It's scary. I've gotten off some calls. My dad lives with me now. And so I've gotten off some calls and I'm typically not super emotional, but he'll walk in my office. He's like, are you okay? And I just start crying. And I'm like, what? I never cry about work. What's going on? The good news is it's because I care that much, but it's hard. It's not easy.
yeah.
It's not for everybody. And I see a lot of people right now starting their own businesses, which I respect and I love it. But I keep telling entrepreneurs, tell people the truth, especially young people who don't have a huge amount of career experience. I mean, we've been battle tested, and I'm not trying to sound like an old person or a boomer. It's just a fact. And I'm like, tell young people how hard this really is and tell them the truth. Otherwise, they're not going to be prepared for it. And if they're not resilient, if they're not problem solvers, it's extraordinarily difficult.
I can definitely second that. No matter what business you're starting, being an entrepreneur is hard. As an outsider looking in saying, oh, they do this, that's so easy. It is not easy. No matter what it is very hard. There's a lot of things that are going on behind the scenes that nobody ever will see. What's going on in your head, the false narratives, the imposter syndrome, all of that shit absolutely exists. One of the things that I wanted to bring up, because you are very good at it. In our previous life, we did a lot of leadership development, leadership training, and one of the things that I think stuck with me, and I'm not as good at it. I'm not that good at it. You are very good at this. And I would tell anybody, 2 listeners, 3 listeners that are listening to this, if they've gotten this far, like, write this down if you are a leader, because Jen is about ready to give a quick class on how to have tough conversations. We were trained on something called the 5-step process. And this is how you have these tough conversations. Jen, why don't you give a breakdown on it? Because a lot of people are avoiding conversations because they are hard conversations to have. This framework, after a bit of practice, became just it just was so easy to have these conversations because of this. So Jen, go break down that framework.
First of all, people are afraid to have these conversations because they are conflict avoidant. I have never been conflict avoidant, but I didn't have a good mechanism for how to have these conversations before we learned the 5-step. And so I was very direct. And for some people, I appreciate direct, just tell me like it is. Not everybody is like that. And not everybody that you lead is going to respond well to that. So this framework really allows you to state facts and also leverage the emotion. You don't have to remove the emotion, but it starts with the facts versus starting from, you piss me off and you suck and these are all the reasons why, which has you looking emotional. It has the recipient being angry, defensive, and emotional. And it just leverages facts, and it usually really diffuses people. So the 5-step is, you start with stating the facts. The facts as I saw them were, or the facts as I understand them are XYZ. And then you go into, and I am angry because of these facts. And what step 3 is what I made it mean in my head is you don't care about me, Jared, and that's why you did this thing. And so the 4th step is talking about the possibilities. In the future, I could ask more questions, or you could approach me with more curiosity. And then the 5th is a commitment to action. What's the next step from here? But when you start with the facts and you tell somebody I'm angry, or you tell somebody I'm hurt, and by the way, this could be used in your personal life too, not just business.
I fucking run this with my kids. It's fine. That's fine.
Give me 5-stepping his children.
Yeah.
The
Gavin,
facts
get in
are,
here.
Riley, you backtalked me and I'm pissed.
Yes.
When you get to that step 3, that's when I feel like it diffuses people the most, especially if you say, I'm angry and I'm hurt because what I made it mean was that you don't care about me. Most of the time, people are like, oh my God, that's not the case. If I would say that to you, you'd be like, Jen, of course I care about you, right? So it gets you to leverage your emotion, talk about your emotions, explain the facts with examples versus verbal diarrhea about why you're upset and hurt at somebody, which takes you down a rabbit hole of just drama. Let's elevate out of the drama, talk about it. And it's been a great tool. It does take a lot of practice. And people who aren't used to it, when you start to run it with them, they're like, why are you so formal with me? But if you explain over time, hey, my goal here is to have a productive conversation in the spirit of the commitment to our relationship with one another. So just bear with me. Even joke about it. If somebody's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Just be like, listen, hear me
Shut up.
out.
Let me get through the steps. Shut your mouth.
Through the steps in my head. But it has diffused a lot of drama and conflict because, listen, everybody, the longer you avoid conflict, especially in your business, you are waiting for a disaster to strike. Someone is going to explode or something is going to explode. If you have 2 people that own critical processes in your organization who are not talking to each other because they are avoiding conflict, and you have a catastrophic issue in your business. For example, let's say you run a payroll business and you have 2 people that serve a client team that don't talk to each other. And then all of a sudden, you're missing payroll for 5,000 employees because you haven't talked. That's a catastrophic thing to your business. So the longer you avoid, the harder it gets. Run the 5-step so that you avoid blowups.
Awesome.
That's the
Good
pitch.
job. That's a good pitch. All right. I've got a few questions and then we'll get into what I like to call extra innings, which is basically rapid fire.
Okay.
It goes with the theme. So
Does
what,
this keep moving up, by the way?
What's that?
I think this thing keeps moving up, this mic. You could tighten it. Sorry.
There's a joke there. There's definitely a joke there. I'm going to keep my mouth shut and move on to the question. All right.
Innings.
All right. So kind of quick fire answers here. What's one lesson that you've taught others in life or in business that you think that more people need to hear?
Actually, because we've talked about it already, my biggest lesson, and that I continue to teach, that I learned and I teach, is when I got off the ship at Empower. The reason I didn't want to leave is because I didn't want to leave my team behind. It was very emotional for me. I built that team and I cared deeply about that team. But what I realized was if I don't show them, how are they ever going to know? And so sometimes making difficult decisions might feel selfish, but you're actually teaching people what they actually need to see. So that's a lesson I keep sharing with people. You know, you have business owners that are like, oh, I'm burning the midnight oil till midnight. I don't know why my team is burnt out. Your team is burnt out because you're showing them that it's okay to burn yourself out. If you're promoting wellness, if you're promoting work-life balance, then you have to show people how it's done. Don't expect people to know on their own. So that's a lesson that I've learned and I've been teaching a lot lately.
Good one. Good one. All right. Now we're going to get a little light, a little fun. What's something that you love talking about that drives everyone else in your life crazy?
Ooh. I'll keep it work related.
No, it
There
doesn't have
is
to be
no
work
one
related.
who
It doesn't
gets
have to be work related. It
yeah,
can be
but
whatever
it's
you
a
want.
good one because
All right.
people bust my balls about it all the time. No one gets more annoyed with me than people who don't care about sports when I talk about Michael Jordan and when I talk about Kobe Bryant or anything NBA related. No one gets more annoyed with me than people who don't like sports with all my
Especially
sports
like,
analogies.
what about LeBron fans? What about those people?
I mean, exactly. Like you get so
Gosh.
annoyed with me. I
I don't
can't
get annoyed with you. I agree with you. I mean, everything. Listen, anybody that knows me knows that sports analogies are the greatest possible analogies you could ever. Fuck, this show's called Life's a Pitch, right? Like, so I love it. I mean, if you don't respect the work ethic of Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, then I think you've got your own issues, probably with laziness, to be honest.
In the words of Jenny Guzman, sounds like a you problem.
Yeah, yeah. All right, that's a good one. That's a good one. All right, so extra innings, teed it up, rapid fire. I'm going to give you a few questions, and you just give me some rapid fire answers, and hopefully we don't cut down rabbit holes to what you say, which we probably will. First
sure.
one. What's the last time that you were genuinely scared?
A month ago. When I
Okay.
came out of this wheel of life and I'm looking at my clock that I'm 43 and I'm like, holy shit, I'm really scared. I'm scared that
Okay.
I'm going to wake up and not have done all the personal things that I wanted to do.
All right, we got to push you on that. Anybody that's listening to this, let's push Jen to get that shit going.
That
All
means
right.
don't stalk me to show up for every event anymore because I can't and I won't.
The one tool that you use at work that you cannot live without.
It's new.
Are you going to say the internet? What is it? Hold on. What is it? Oh, here we go.
Yo, I'm at
What
that
song?
I'm at that life. I can't see.
I think it looks good. I think I
Hi.
told you earlier. I think the glasses look good.
Guy, I was out to here reading stuff, so now I can't live without my glasses.
Are you gonna like slow motion put those on like when you pull up a menu at a restaurant? You'd be like, hold on a second. Hey, hold on. I can't. Hold on. Let me. And then you pull them out of your pocket and then put them on and then write them down to your nose, like so you can see far from people you're talking to.
100%. Would you rather me do that or would you rather me shine the flashlight like an 80-year-old?
No, I'm gonna. When you do that and I'm around you, I'm going to make fun of you, but it's out of love, obviously.
Fine. But the real tool, I know this is so lame and nerdy, but it's really my notes, writing down notes. I hand write my notes still.
Oh,
That's the way
that's
I
fine.
retain all my
You still have
information.
this?
Oh, of
You still have
course.
this?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, those
Full
are great.
focus planner.
Yep. So
But
let's
I
call
write-
it the full focus planner.
Yes.
That's not the. This is the remarkable.
Oh, sorry. No, I do not use
No,
the
you still
remarkable.
use the
My bad.
focus planner.
Yeah,
The
I actually
Hyatt's thing?
write with pen.
All right. Easy, boomer. All right, here we go. Next. What's a truth about business and being an entrepreneur you didn't believe until you lived it?
This shit is ugly.
Yes.
Ugly. It's fucking
Ugly's a good
ugly,
one.
you guys.
Not hard. Ugly's a good. Ugly's better than hard.
Ugly. It's ugly because it's like an ugly love relationship because you love your business, you love the people you serve, and then they give you a hard time. So it's fucking ugly.
Yeah. Yell at it. Just
Yell at it.
pissed off. Go to bed. You dickhead.
Go to bed. I don't like
right.
your business.
Okay. I know what you're gonna say to this, but I'm gonna ask you anyway, and then you can do your thing with your answer. All right.
Okay.
One person, living or dead, you want to have a drink with, and why?
I bet you think I'm going to say Michael Jordan.
No, you're gonna say Selena.
Oh, no, I wasn't.
Oh my God, were you not? Oh, I guess she's
Oh.
not your favorite.
No, you know who I was actually going to say? Because it came to me quickly when we were talking about sports, was Ryan Sandberg. Rhino.
Okay.
Anyone and everybody should look up Ryan Sandberg's eulogy at Old St. Pat's Church here in Chicago and listen to the way he was eulogized by his peers, his family, and his priests. By the way, he wasn't originally Catholic. I think he converted to Catholicism. But talk about humble servant leader. He was a very different 23 than MJ. MJ was in your face, right? He wasn't a servant leader. He was a champion. He was a legend. He was a fucking knockdown, drag you by the hair type of leader. And Rhino was the opposite. He was the light as a feather leader. And I was so moved by his eulogy. I just want to have a beer with him because he just seems like such a salt of the earth person. So rest in peace, Rhino.
Yeah.
All day.
Funny, not funny story, but this is, I'm gonna try to tell the story and find it at the same time.
Okay.
In 2016, I am a diehard Cleveland fan, as you know, and I took my dad to World Series Game 1 and Game 2 as a surprise, and we played the Cubs, and it was in Cleveland, so we flew back, and we walk into a bar before the game started, and my dad literally looks and all of a sudden he goes, "There's Ryan Sandberg," and he's gone. I'm like, "What are you?" I'm like, "This is not like my dad to do this," and he goes up and.
Dude,
can you
that
see it?
kind of blurry, but I see his
Come
big
on, camera,
smile.
adjust. Yeah, so he got a picture, and there it is.
That is awesome.
And he said that
so cool.
My dad was a baseball coach for 30 years at my high school, and he sat and talked baseball with Rhino for like 5 minutes, and he was the nicest guy in the world.
Dude, that is incredible. I'm actually trying to find, now that you said that, a quote from him so I can include. Okay, here we go. It was actually Bob. So if you don't want to watch the whole funeral, fine, but watch Bob Costas' remarks. He said, he described Sandberg as talented and fundamentally sound. He recalled the statue of Sandberg outside Gallagher Way, posed in perfect position to make any play, even the routine ones. And he quoted Sandberg's own words at its dedication: "Hit a home run, put your head down, drop the bat, and run around the bases. Because the name on the front is more important than the name on the back. That's respect."
Yeah, it's good.
I love it.
I mean, that's a good one. All right. So last question.
Yep.
Last question for this non-rapid fire extra innings. This is a long game. First concert, last concert.
My first concert was...
This gives me a flavor into people, so I like this one.
This lines up well for me. My first concert was Boys to Men at the Allstate Arena. Well, then it was called the Rosemont Horizon. Mm-hmm. And I thought I was such a badass, by the way. My last concert was Maná at the Auditorio Nacional, the National Auditorium in Mexico City. And Maná, for those of you who don't know, is a 30-year plus rock band in Mexico. I mean, they are the Pearl
How do you spell
Jam.
it?
M-A-N-A.
Okay.
And they are the Pearl Jam of Mexico. I mean, like some of the godfathers of rock in Mexico. And their lead singer has got to be almost 70 years old. And they crushed it. And what a great venue to see it.
Awesome. Good stuff.
Yeah.
That is it. I feel like obviously we could continue to go on forever, but we are at the end. So how do people find you if they want to talk to you about Bestola, leadership, Chicago, whatever the hell, Michael Jordan?
If you are in the cesspool that is called X and want to talk Chicago politics, join me there. If you are an Instagrammer, you can find Bestola Collective on Instagram. And otherwise, hit me up at jen@bestolaconsulting.com.
You're on LinkedIn too.
I am on LinkedIn too. Sorry.
Yeah. All right. That was awesome. That's a wrap for this episode of Life's a Pitch. Big thanks to Jen for coming on. I knew that this was going to be good, and we will definitely have you back. Like there's multiple people. I will definitely have you back on. If you like it, share it, tell a friend, or just steal something smart she said. That 5-step process is gold. Pretend it was yours. Steal it. And remember, behind every strategy, title, success story, there's chaos, self-doubt, and a whole lot of trial and error. See you next time.